Hello, thank you for watching this video. This video is about Brian Johnson. He's the person that baptized me, and he's an incredible songwriter. I really hope you enjoy the video.
For him, there will be a day when every way, there I will sing nation. Na, na, na. So you play. I'm singing the melody, but I'm not playing chords. So you're giving room for their creative to come.
That's good.
And they might play a chord that you're like, ooh, that's the vibe, but I need to change this melody a little bit.
All right.
So a lot of times when we're co-writing, we're not giving it away the whole thing. So I'll bring an idea because I know, like, okay, that's cool. It's not great, so I don't want to just sing them a cool idea. I want it to be great. So I'm leaving enough open room for them to maybe bring something that makes it great. We've had that a lot of times with the band where shout it out in live 415. In 6, that was the original, but now 415 in 2. That 2 made it way better. So that was like a musician bringing that idea in.
Gotcha.
Okay, go ahead.
Random question. But when you're reading the Bible in the morning especially, are you reading it in the lens of like ready if song lyrics like pop out, right? Or do you just have that more as a separate time where you read it looking for song like inspirations?
I think I'm usually always, but sometimes I shut it off because once I turn it on, it's hard to I'm not writing. So we were on this trip for about a month, and I'm like, I'm not writing a song. I'm not even going to think about an idea. I'm not doing it. But most of the time, if I get an idea, I'll always be in that mode. But today in worship, when she said just sing out something, whatever, I just started singing this thing, and I caught myself, and I was like, well, that's really good. I should get my phone out. And I did, and I'm like, forget it. I'm just going to do this, because I never do this. I'm always like, get my phone and record. I'm just going to, all right, Lord. And then everyone's like, well, this one's just for you, Lord. And love your heart. Great. I do, I really do. Sometimes it's a little, I don't know, I think we're a little too intense.
Yeah.
But this morning was like, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to let it flow, whatever comes, and it just is what it is. Lord, you heard it, it's for you, and I'll never remember it. And he's probably going to be like, that was the only time you actually worshipped. But at least I did it once.
That was the one.
Because I can't really play this one on a piano. You have a guitar? Oh. No, it's like these weird chords. I used to have dreadlocks. And it's like a reggae song too. You're the miracle of my life, and you set me free. Well, you sent your only son to die for all to see every day. When you're on my mind, you are everything that I need and more. You're the, it goes on and on. And
Nothing wrong with that.
yeah, it's pretty good. Summer sunshine, summer sunshine. Let's see. Summer sunshine, shining on my face again. It gets real good right here. This is a really good lyric. The leaves are falling. Ready? Falling from the trees of sin. Traveling on the road, flying high. Why did I pick this key? It's so high. So write down this song for yourself and teach it to the children of Israel. Put it in their mouths, that this song may be a witness for me against the children of Israel. Then it shall be when many evils and troubles have come upon them, that this song will testify against them as a witness, for it will not be forgotten in the mouths of their descendants. For I know the inclination of their behavior today, even before I have brought them to the land of which I swore to give them. Therefore Moses wrote this song the same day and taught it to the children of Israel.
Wow.
Which, it's a terrible story, but this is like Moses' last shot at leadership. And God, right before he dies, and God tells him to write a song. So the last thing he does to shape the next generation, the last thing he does to get this people who are about to go after other gods, and also setting up Aaron, his predecessor, to lead. God says, write a song. Write a song for the people. Now, this speaks to the power and the importance of the song. Obviously, it's a priority for God. This song will confront them, and it will live, this is the key part, unforgotten in the mouths of their offspring. It's like a song to be engraved, to be kept in memory. In the Psalms, there's a word called the Miktam song, and it's the song to be engraved so that it will never be forgotten throughout the generations. So God's last charge and line of business for Moses before he's going to die is to write a song, which is pretty cool, even though it's a terrible song. The point remains.
Terribly powerful.
Yes. Not only a song, but a song that's supposed to be kept in memory. Me and my wife have a place that we go in Trinidad, California. Have you been there? We have a place there, and we go there a lot. Most of the summers we spend there. It's like in the 60s, year round.
Nice.
Yeah, it's amazing. And there's a lot of wear and tear because of the salt, in the air. But there's a bridge over this creek, and the first time we started going there, everyone carves their initials in the creek, in the bridge, and you do the whole like husband. Brian plus Jen Hart, thing. But so like 15 years have passed, and you visit that bridge, and it's the bridge is kind of falling apart, and that has almost faded away into nothing. And the engraving, unforgotten thing God's talking about in this is not on a piece of wood. This is like in stone. This is supposed to be in the hearts of His people to be remembered forever, and it's also a call to us as worshipers, as songwriters, to write the song of the Lord that won't be forgotten. We're not just singing for today. We're not just singing for our services in our rooms. We're writing songs. We're teaching the next generation. We're prophesying. We're pastors and prophets to the people in the room, the people that hear the music, and for the next generation. That's kind of how we posture ourselves. So it is a big deal with what we're doing. The goal for every one of us, if we're honest, would be, man, it would be so cool to write a song that like outlasts our life, and that would be amazing. Like I get more fulfillment out of writing songs. Like let's say like Holy Forever. The story of that song is really cool, but like whenever I hear it, I just have there's reward there. And part of it is we were very intentional with the song. Like we wanted it to be something that could work, not just within a season, but could be sung. Maybe when we die, maybe it's still sung. We're pastors and prophets. What the Bible says about songwriting, a lot of this is in the New Testament. I'll run through this, and then we're going to get into some tips and things like that are more practical. But I do think it's important to highlight how songs are woven throughout the Bible, because they're important. He spoke today a lot, and that guy's he's a genius, by the way. Yeah. The importance of worship and praise in the song. So what the Bible says about songwriting, Ephesians 5:19, addressing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody to the Lord with your heart. Colossians 3:16, let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, teaching and admonishing one another in all wisdom, singing songs and hymns and spiritual songs with thankfulness in your hearts to God. He spoke today about it, but that let the word of Christ dwell in you richly. Songs have a part of the word of God getting in us, dwelling richly in us. Psalms 95:1, oh come, let us sing to the Lord, let us make a joyful noise to the rock of our salvation. The Bible presents music and singing as a vital part of worship, communication with God, and expressing various emotions and experiences, including joy, sorrow, and gratitude. We need to remind people of who he is and what he's done. Sometimes when leading, remember to remind the room of this. Instead of pushing for a response, we use our songs to remind his people, and the response will take care of itself.
That's good.
And sometimes when you're putting even a set list together, this would be like a worship leading thing. But when you sing a song about, let's talk about like the life of Jesus, and then he goes to the cross, in the third verses, or that 10,000 reasons. And on that day, when my strength is failing, those lyrics bring about such emotion that you can't help but respond. You're not just singing praise, 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 praise the Lord, praise. It's telling a story. And it's pulling out emotions, and it's reminding people of, man, I just was at my grandma's deathbed. And on that day when my strength is failing, and you're reminded of these things. And so we need to do imagery stuff with our songs. But since we're talking about corporate worship, not so much so that you lose people. And I think there always needs to be some sort of response to God for it to actually work. Because at the end of the day, we want the songs to work with the congregation. And it feels like sometimes the verses can be that area of the song that you can like unpack themes and story and idea, but that chorus is that like, okay, who cares what this lyric said? It's simple enough just to close your eyes and lift your hands and worship. And most of the songs that we're singing, that's what they do. That hook in the chorus has to be so memorable and almost easy. Easy to learn, hard to forget. For me, because I've written songs for a while, and it all happens different. And I'm sure for those of you who write, there's not like a one way to do it. I was talking with Cody in that Firm Foundation. He's like, I wrote that in the shower, and he's like, you can hear the shower kind of dripping because I turned it off and grabbed my phone when I was there, and I sang the initial idea. And so like songs come at all different times, And there's not just one way to come up with the ideas. So some songwriting tips that have worked for me that I'll share with you. Like, I'll have my phone sometimes in worship when people are leading worship at church. And maybe when the song ends or there's just a chorus where no one's singing, it's hard to come up with something when someone else is singing melody. So even this is another trick for worship leading, and I'm going to lead Friday morning, and I'm going to remind my band, when we end a song, we go into Salem mode, don't play much of melody, and don't be changing chords on me. Just hold that one and let create an atmosphere so that I can kind of like get into a zone, and then out of that create something instead of being forced into following what was already created.
Good.
So that's how we used to do it in the olden days. It'd come down and we just hovering on that one. We just start kind of pedaling, and then there's lots of space, And that's a really sweet spot for writing songs, because you've been inspired, you've been worshiping, you've been singing maybe an amazing song already, so you're already really inspired. Oh, what's up, Matt? You just work out, dude? You look a little extra right now. I've written a lot of my best songs in the Salem moment when there's just a blank canvas, or there's a rhythm or a beat. So, you got a cassette keyboard, put that little play button that's got those generic beats. It's like, it sounds funny, but anything like that will inspire something.
Yeah.
Do that. And if that doesn't work, create a soundscape. So I wrote with a lot of the guys I wrote with. Ben Fielding, he's got a little computer and a little speaker, and he'll put, if you hit a 1 note and a 5 note in a chord, you can pretty much play a whole song and change chords in that key, and it'll work. So 1 note and a 5 note, so it'll create like this cool little pad in the background, and you're kind of feeling it. And it inspires ideas because there's like this cool vibe happening. So try that. This is a cool one. One of our writers was teaching on this a few years back. Instead of playing a chord, play just 1 note. And then from that note, see, because if you start with just a note, not a chord, you're not trapped into a certain key. You have multiple key options if you just start with a note. And a lot of times in songwriting, if it's too busy, it won't allow you to come up with more ideas because you're kind of trapped in like these boundaries. So I think that's a really good one. One note, not a chord, just a note. So you can literally, if you sit down, you can try every one of these in order until you come up with something that you think, oh, this is good enough to pour time into. Because it's all about investment. Like, you want to have something worth your time. You don't want to be chasing your tail, chasing something that's not going to be worth it. So play one note, give it some time until an idea comes out. Chord progressions, great chord progressions. Sometimes too, it's not just you playing them, but maybe you have someone with you that's just, so a lot of times the songwriting, someone's on piano, just play like a 6-4-1-5 over and over, just play it. And then each person's, someone's over there, you're not too close. We do a lot of 3 people co-writes. Someone's got the phone over there, I'm over here, and then each person's kind of got their writing ideas or their humming ideas. Do that for a bit, then we bring them together and go, oh, what'd you get? Did you get anything? And then a lot of times, like, because it is in the boundary of the same chords, but you'll have sometimes 3 different sections that work together, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So we've done that a lot. Lyric spark, instead of trying, this is a good one. This is for like people like me who like lyrics. Sometimes like my head gets in the way of writing good lyric. But we all can do it because we all can talk and we all can express ourselves. Lyric spark, instead of trying to write lyrics, just write words. So when you're trying to write a lyric, you're trying to make it all poetic. You're trying to write a finished product when you're trying to write lyric. That's the problem. But if you're just sitting down and you're writing lyrics, like words, like a journal entry, like, be honest, like I'm just writing words. Just write words. And you'll start ideating, or even better, if you're co-writing, and we've done this a lot where, guys, okay, so for example, anyone got anything, there's 3 of us, and I'm like, well, no, but I've got this idea, so this thing happened to me, blah, 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 and I started feeling this, and I just like, maybe we should write a song about, this, and you just start ideating on words, and then so someone else is there, and we've done this so many times, like, oh, say that again, that could be a lyric. But you're not trying to really write a lyric at that point.
Just catching.
Getting it all out. Then you can go in and like make it poetic and make it rhyme. So there's so many ways to say one word, right? So then you try to go, is there another way to say that word that can rhyme? That's the second step, not the first step. So if you're like me, I get clogged and it's hard for me to do anything if I start trying to be poetic.
That's good.
Lyrics can be hard, words are not. Words don't have to be poetic, lyrics do. But starting with words, you can get the idea out and inform you to say something in a poetic way is the goal. Say what you want to say, then form it into a piece of art. Right? Write down keywords, ones that describe the feeling, meaning, emotion of what you want to say. So you can even talk about your feeling and emotion. So we wrote a song, Forever. Forever. And I told the co-writers were writing, the ground began to shake. And I'm like, I know we can't say this in the song, but I said I want it to be like the middle finger to the devil. So you're getting the emotion. Ken, you like that? Yeah. The middle finger to the devil, I want it to feel like that. Right? What do you want the song to feel like? Does that make sense?
Yep.
That's a really important part.
Good feel.
Meaning. Words that kind of describe the meaning. So like if you're talking about the sovereignty of God, let's say we want to write a song about the sovereignty of God. Every lyric, every word that kind of like could be a sister or a cousin or a second cousin or a third cousin to the sovereignty of God. Make a list of those words. And then the emotion. What's the emotion of what you're trying to say? Is it sad? Is it happy? You know what I mean? Things like that. Jen and I, when we first got married, probably like a week, or like before we were married actually, we were in the prayer house, and I used to write Bible verses on 3x5 cards, and from the Psalms. And we went to the prayer house and we were writing, and I just put 3x5 cards down with different verses, and just started playing a chord progression.
Huh.
And Jen just kind of looked at it and she's like, "Oh, taste and see that old song, that the Lord is good." And within like 15 to 30 minutes, kind of shuffled the 3x5 cards and finished this song. So that's another way to do it, is just sing the Bible. Another one of those songwriting tips. If you're not getting anything, find verses that are highlighted to you and put them in front of you. The problem with, like, for me, the phone, sometimes the phone, that's why I can't do any of this to you with it on the phone, because it's like, I gotta scroll and trying to find it, but writing it out. You know, sometimes if you have like a whiteboard, sometimes when we're writing, you have a whiteboard, you're writing the words up so you always can see them. Putting them out in front of you on paper so you can see them. Then what you can do is you can like weave them together a little better. So that's how we wrote that song. Co-writing a song or a worship song, I think the rules are the same, and there's a lot on co-writing. We co-write everything, pretty much. The end goal is greatness, even if it's not your idea. Right?
Yeah.
So,
Good word.
and for most of us, if not all of us, our best ideas, we won't be able to take full credit for them.
Yeah.
So like for me, all the songs I've written, they've been co-written, right? So I can't go, yeah, I wrote that song by myself. Because I'll never have something that good if I try to do it by myself, ever. I feel like the Lord told me that years ago, like you're never gonna, your best work's gonna be stuff you can't take credit for.
Amen.
So with that, you want it to be excellent, even if your idea didn't make the cut. Do you love it because it was a line that you wrote, or is it the right one for the song?
So good. So humble.
I remember we were writing "Lion in the Land" with Leland, and I had this bridge, and the bridge I had was, let's see if I can remember it. Oh, I hope I can remember this. That's not helping me. That's the chorus.
That's the chorus.
The bridge. Oh, guys. No, that's the. Give me 30 seconds. Don't say anything. Da, 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 da. Let the nations tell them all. Da, 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 right?
Yeah.
But it's fine, peppy, you know. But then Leland brought this idea, because it was separate. He brought this idea. He's like, who can stop the Lord? What's the bridge now?
Who can stop the Lord Almighty?
Simple. Who can stop the Lord Almighty? And in context, when you're leading, that one really, because we tried it, that one really worked.
Yeah.
So, me being the humble servant. Wow. I was like, 100%, my idea should not be on this song. And I'm so glad that we made that decision, right? Because his idea was best for the song, even though I didn't write it. What's more important, a lyric or a melody? What do you think?
Oof. Melody?
It's a tough.
Okay, so
I love melody.
Melody.
Obviously they're both important, but I don't know if it's a level of importance or not, because so melody is like the numbing agent, right?
Uh-huh.
That if we can think of it like this, melody is the numbing agent. It's the Novocaine before like the surgery. Melody is the thing that we can just sing, and it's catchy, and it's great, and then we sing this lyric, and that's why half the time we sing songs, and I love the song, we're like, I don't remember what it's talking about, but I can hum it. And the guy in the back row at church usually probably won't remember the whole song, but you can probably hum it.
Mm.
So they're equally important, but if you can think of it like melody's a numbing agent, and it makes it easy to receive or memorize the lyric, that is so important. When I was a kid, when we'd have to memorize Bible verses in Christian school, my dad would write a little song to it. Because the Bible verses were like that short, because we're little. So we would remember it.
Yeah.
Your dad was a musician?
Say what?
Your dad is a musician?
Yeah, he is. Yep.
Oh.
So it makes it easy to receive the lyric or the message, because the lyric is like the seed and it needs to be planted. And another thing is the lyric and the melody need to be married for the song to be great, which we know, like, it has to, the music in and of itself has to almost say what the song's talking about, right? So you start playing the lyric, and then when they start the melody, starts playing the chords and melody, and they start singing, and it's like it was meant to be together. High point melodically, high point lyrically. You know, he is risen. And you get the first time, he is risen. Second time, he is risen. Like the point is you're trying to like,
Yeah. Make it rise.
yeah, you're like kind of like pull a response with the lyric and the melody. So it needs to be married. See if there's anything else on that. Let's do this, because I could keep talking about songwriting for a long time, but let's do Q&A and see what kind of happens.